Welcome to another marvelous episode of College Football Showdown. I am the governor of college football, and with me, as always, is my co-pilot Jalen Wilson. Jalen, you know what upsets me, bro? That
What?
we haven't been able to do the 2 episodes a week. Because I think we were supposed to clear 100 by the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Spotify Wrapped is coming up, and I'm sure our video podcast will probably be in the top 10%, maybe top 5% of all video podcasts on a platform. So I'm about to do a mad dash of getting a bunch of stuff on there. But like I said, last Thursday, I was at the Pitt Syracuse game. Really disappointed in that game. Not disappointed in the experience. Disappointed in the game. The game was I thought we would get a good old fashioned ACC game. Pitt destroyed them. It was a terrible game, but it did show me the difference in between collegiate stadiums and NFL stadiums. The security is heightened. What's happening, Thomas? The security is heightened. And yes, Ohio State McCord came out to play. He had a terrible game. My phone worked. My phone don't work in most stadiums. My phone 100% worked. I had high speed internet. It felt like, but like I said, it was an awesome experience. Jalen, I want to process. Go ahead.
You said something about your phone? Like when you at College Stadium, does your phone not work?
It's buggy, bro. I can
Thank you. I be sick, bro. When I'm at Illinois Stadium, I promise you, either it don't work on Wi-Fi or it's just slow.
It's super buggy. Like I can post something and it'll take days. what it feels like to get out. But when I was in, I always call it Three Rivers or Heinz Field. What's the name of it? Is it Acrisure? Something like that.
I used to call Heinz, or I just call the stadium.
Yeah. So when I was at the stadium, like I said, it was pretty cool. The biggest difference is in college stadiums, you can kind of roam around, you can do what you want. NFL stadiums, like I was trying to check out the locker room just to get some behind the scene access. They weren't having that. So, but in the end, it was still good. I think Moon last Wednesday went to Jacksonville State's game.
Yeah, he did.
I forgot who they played, but so it's been kind of cool. Like we've been on tour, and I think there's been weeks like we had every ounce of reason for not going to a game. Like Friday, I had to be in Lynchburg, Virginia, which is where Liberty play. I have there's a new store opening out there, and they were sending me out there. So that night I didn't sleep. Really, we went all the way from Pittsburgh, dropped Mike off where I live at, and then we went all the way to. Then I went all the way to Lynchburg for the new store opening, but something didn't go right there, so I ended up saying F them and leaving. I came back home that night. So I want to waste no time. I want to go to each of the conference standings. So we're going to go, of course, we're going to go through all the Power 4 conferences. And then we're going to thus work ourselves until the G5 ranks. But I really want to break this down. Taylor, if you could tell, typically we have some scripts where you kind of know what questions you're going to get. This isn't one of them. I just want to talk shop. I want to talk ball. So we're going to start out with the SEC. And I'm going to go into the order that they have them as based on conference ranking. Texas A&M 5-0 in the conference in the SEC, 7-1 overall. Georgia's 8-1. I'm sorry, my apologies. Georgia is 6-1 overall, 4-1 in the conference. Texas is 3-1 in the conference, almost 3-2. Vandy had opportunities and squandered them. They're 7-1 overall. Tennessee is 3-1 in the conference, 6-1 overall. LSU 3-1 in the conference, 6-2 overall. I want to get to LSU real quick before we go and talk more about this. You sent me a message. You feel like repeating it Saturday night?
Oh, well, I said Nussmeyer needs another year.
He needs another year,
yeah. Because I get it. You said they're one-dimensional.
They're completely one-dimensional, bro.
But he makes some throws where it's like, goodness gracious. Sometimes just like, dang.
Mm-hmm.
He does make throws that be like, I can see the potential in you.
Yeah, he'll make a wild throw, but you feel like, and I think D now was along the theory and thinking of you, like, why not come back next year and be the number one guy, coming out of the draft? But it doesn't always work out like that, though.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest, that pick that the defensive lineman did, like where he acted like he was gonna rush and then backed off to the running back pick. I think that was just a better play by the defensive lineman.
Yeah, it was a high IQ play. It was a great play. Alabama 6-2. Got a big win this week against Missouri, 34-0. Much needed win for them. Arkansas 5-3.
I watched like 2 minutes of that
Yeah,
of the Alabama game. I was
yeah.
like,
You saw everything you probably need to see in
and then
that.
Drew Pine, because my dad's watching it, and I heard it from my room.
Mhm.
I heard Drew Pine coming in. I'm like, oh yeah, I ain't turning that
Yeah,
game back
yeah,
on.
yeah. It's bad. Arkansas is 5-3, but Arkansas can legitimately be what? Can I say 7-1 or 8-0?
Uh,
Based upon who we seen them lose to this year. They lost to who? A&M. They lost to Oklahoma
Oklahoma
State,
State.
and they should have won that game. And there was another game that they lost.
Was it Auburn?
No, they beat. They ended. That was an ugly game. That was a nasty game. They ended up beating Auburn, but to see that they're 5-3 at this point, when a lot of people were calling for Sam Pittman's job, it's just interesting. Missouri is 6-2, and they're in the AP poll top 25. We're not going to talk about that on this show, because I think we're going to probably move past the AP top 25. I think we're going to ultimately end up getting in playoff talk. Missouri is 6-2, but in my opinion, should not be in the top 25. They just shouldn't.
They should.
You look at the BC game, they could have very well lost that one. Brady Cook, if he don't pull the goddamn, remember Tecmo old Bowl? Well, you don't. Remember Tecmo Bowl when somebody go to the hospital and you also after getting injured, and then they run back like if Brady Cook didn't pull last week, we may be looking at a 5-3 or maybe even 4-14. Ole Miss is 6-2. Wasn't really impressed with them, but there were some things that did impress me. The fact that Trey Harris didn't play, and I felt like they played really good ball in the last 3 quarters. Vandy is 5-3. Florida at this point, Florida is 4-3, and I think if they go bowling, Billy Napier shouldn't get fired. How do you feel about that?
He'd get another year. Then they'll see what he does. If it's like another like 7-win, 6-win season, then they'll probably be like, oh, okay.
Yeah. So I mean, but if he buys more time, does he go take a job elsewhere? Like, because remember how what's the guy name from
Elsewhere, like what, offensive coordinator elsewhere? Like what you mean, like coordinator wise?
it could be coordinator or it could be a job, maybe a lower level job. He did have a lot of success at the Group 5 level,
guess,
or like how Jeff Hafley was allotted another year with BC, but he went ahead and took the Green Bay defensive coordinator job.
Yeah,
and they're actually doing pretty good. So that I think that wasn't a lateral move for him. I think that was a forward move for him, if that makes sense. Or like, I'm trying to think of somebody. Cincinnati coach Satterfield.
Oh yeah.
Think about what he did. How he was kind of going to be allotted another year at Louisville, but then went to Cincy, and some people thought that was a lateral move. But hell, Cincy looked pretty good. Even in their loss this past weekend, we always talk about no more victories. They still look pretty good versus Colorado, and Colorado looks scary good. And I'm sure we'll talk about them when we talk about some Big 12. South Carolina. Is South Carolina the best 4-3 team in the country?
Arguably. I don't know every 4-3 team off the top of my head. Will be Rutgers. They suck. They're frauds. I think Rutgers 4-3 after this week.
Yeah. I think you're correct. Or they might even be even split 4-4. But that what they could have done versus what they've done is crazy.
Yeah, it could have been Alabama.
What is Indiana going to be able to do to keep Kirk Cincinnati? Because the bag is going to be thrown at him. I'm talking about a big bag. I'm talking about if Florida State decide to get rid of Mike Norvell, what he's done, the first D1 coach in the history of the sport at 2 different schools, start 8-0.
I mean, the only thing Indiana can do is open pocket. They got to open up their pocketbooks. That's the only thing they can do. They got to do what UConn did with Dan Hurley this offseason, where it was like, oh yeah, the Lakers want to sign him, and then it was like UConn was like, listen, we give you this extension right here, you this big money, and with the taxes and everything, it'd be the same amount of money basically that you'll be earning over in LA.
Yeah, that's a good point. Oklahoma, their Heat 4-4. How do you feel about them as a program? Because we see, like, when coaches are in their second or third years with the program, sometimes we'll see coaches make panic moves where they'll get rid of a coordinator, and I'll be like, you're being real finicky, you being real funny, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are you placing a blame? Like, there was a coordinator that just was fired recently. What program was it? It was, I just saw it, like, it flashed.
With Purdue?
Somebody just fired their defensive coordinator.
Oh, okay. I thought
Ted
you fired
Ruff.
the offensive coordinator.
Ted Ruff. Ted Ruff. Yeah, it was Ted Ruff.
I'm gonna be honest. I think some coaches are just better coordinators, and I
Yeah.
feel like that's the case for Brent Venables.
Yeah. So I think this is the time of the year we start seeing people do like, sketchy stuff.
Like I'm like, Oklahoma just don't look like Oklahoma. Like it's not even like, oh man, they're still a top 25 team. No, they're not even close to top.
Yeah, it was UCF. I was like, that's what's going on. Shout out to World of Moon. Shout out to my guy SC. Appreciate SC, man. Appreciate the work that SC does, man. On the O and everything else he does for the platform. Truly appreciate you. Thank you. You guys are always in here making a chat lit. Truly appreciate you. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different. It's not really scripted. Me and Jalen just going to go conference by conference. We're going to talk shop. If y'all, right now we're talking about the SEC. You got a question, put it in there. Does A&M have the best defense in the SEC? Is one of the questions that are in here.
I think Georgia defense is good. It's not the Georgia that we've been accustomed to the past couple of years.
Right. What?
Alabama's defense can be good, but we've seen what it can do against like.
It's like we seen some hot and cold, like Kentucky. Their defense have shown that they can be dominant. Then it's they've also showed that hey, the hell is going on here. So I don't know. D now said he agrees with you, Jalen, that he still thinks it's Georgia. Auburn is 3-5. It's a question I'm asking on Overreaction Monday tonight. I want to ask you this because I always want to see where you and Nino align as far as your thought process. So Auburn going to go bowling this year.
What's their record again?
They're 3-5 currently.
No.
So they're not going to go bowling. So that leads to the next question.
I think their best hope is 6-6 because they're going to lose to Alabama.
Okay. So their best hope is 6-6, right? Yeah. If they're not 6-6, how do we evaluate Hugh Freeze? He's been able to recruit. He's also at a program where the resources are plentiful. Like, where do we start to place blame? Like, we're looking at you. Peyton Thorne's kind of been your guy. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do we start to look at him? It's year 2. Most programs do try to give you 3 years. How do we start to evaluate Hugh Freeze? Hot seat. Jarkhead Hunter will put Vandy to bed this weekend. Auburn needs to run the gosh daggone football. Run the ball.
I think we evaluate him like the same way we evaluate like any coach. I've called out Coach Brown before during the season.
We were very critical of them. That's why
Hugh Freeze should get no type of favors.
No.
I mean, Ryan Walters, another coach.
Yeah, hot seat.
Yeah, like Hugh Freeze, you ain't no different, buddy. Like,
how do we feel about Jeff Lebby? Is it too soon? Because I felt like he had some of the pieces in place. Yes, it's year 1 in Starkville. I felt like he had some pieces in place, but they're currently 1-7.
See, I would say it's too soon. I don't like the whole 1 year because first year, I don't know. We'll know how it's going to look year 2.
I think you and I have different approaches when it comes to head coach. You prefer a defensive-minded head coach with a hotshot offensive coordinator. I prefer it the other way around. I prefer an offensive-minded head coach with a hotshot defensive coordinator. So I'm looking at Jeff Lebby. You can tell that he's gone. If you can look at Norman and say, hey, what's the difference between this year and last year? Of course, some people say Dylan Gabriel. Of course, some people say the pieces that they have in Norman. But I say, it's most definitely Jeff Lebby. That's the reason why they're struggling in Norman.
Is it the reason why they're struggling in Norman?
I will say so. But
I feel like quarterback play got to do something about it, right?
Yeah, it does. And how do you feel about Jackson Arnold kind of bullying his way back into the starting lineup? Did you see any of that? Did you catch any of that?
What?
Jackson Arnold, how he bullied his way back into the starting lineup.
No, I just assumed they said the true freshman. Like, I didn't look into that story. I just kind of assumed that they were struggling.
He bullied his way.
Bad, so Jackson Arnold started.
Man, either y'all gonna put me in or I'm hitting the portal. He bullied his way.
Oh, I would have said, hey, bro, hit the portal. You skipping all that anyway.
Speaking of this convo, we got a statement from Moon. I don't care for Lane Kiffin. His teams always so undisciplined, bro. It was so annoying watching Ole Miss because they always rob themselves. Hot seat for Moon. Okay. Don't you start talking crap about Lane Kiffin, Moon. Now, historically, you're correct. Because we seen it at times in SC. We've seen it at times in Tennessee. I do believe that this Ole Miss team is talented, but you're right. The Kentucky game, they absolutely beat themselves. The LSU game, they absolutely beat themselves. It wasn't anything that the other team did. It was more so what they did. So when we think from a discipline standpoint, but you got to look at where Ole Miss is now. Like nationally, they're able to recruit. They're able to get guys via the portal. I think Lane Kiffin is still one of the greatest minds in the sport. But you're right. His teams do play very undisciplined. But I was kind of happy with the output that I seen on Saturday, considering that arguably by the numbers, if we're doing blind resumes, Trey Harris' blind resume may be better than any wide receiver in the country if we're truly looking at blind resumes. But I'm a huge Lane Kiffin guy, so maybe I'm being biased. How do you feel about Moon's statement? Man, Lincoln Riley over Lane Kiffin. Now, Jalen, that would, until I went to the Maryland game, I would have had the same facial expression you had. I went to the Maryland game, and there's little things that me and Moon pay attention to when we on the sideline. I said, Moon, come here. You know, most coaches, I don't got my Madden play call sheet, got the play call sheet this big when they calling plays. This was Lincoln Riley's.
Do you have a Matt Patricia play sheet where he had the little sticky note? Yeah.
All right, this is what we're going to get to. It's like, it's just for him in post. Everything is mental. You know how they say, oh, Jay-Z goes into the studio and Weezy goes into the studio. They don't write anything. That's how I feel like Lincoln Riley is. So that's why when Moon said that about Lincoln Riley is brilliant, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know how Lake Kick Josh always say, well, I don't mess up on my takes. The players mess it up. The officials mess it up. That's what I'm going to say about Lincoln Riley, because Lincoln Riley's mental, like the way he works, he's still one of the greatest minds of the sport.
But would that refrain me from choosing Lane Kiffin? I mean, would that refrain me from choosing Lane Kiffin over him? I don't think it
I'm a Lane Kiffin guy, so for me it'll be biased, but I like Lincoln Riley too. Like, I remember there were times on this show you were very critical of Lincoln Riley. There were times with Nino and Boomer, they're very critical of Lincoln Riley. But what
I'm not a big Lincoln Riley guy either.
Yeah, but what I saw on the sidelines, like being at the game and just pay attention to the little nuances, it's like, oh no, this guy is different. Like I see play callers, I've seen them in the booth or near the press box, and they got these big, dumb, stupid play call sheets, and we always see them because they hog the elevators the first minute after halftime because they're always running on the elevators trying to get food or trying to get food and then get down, you know, for halftime and whatever adjustments they got to make. Sorry about that. Got to clear my camera. But like I said, he's a fantastic mind. So looking at this SEC, Jalen, I want to talk about the teams who right now have the potential to make a playoff or have the potential to win a conference, you know, even make it to the conference title game. So we're going to look at Texas A&M remaining schedule. We just said it, 7-1. They won 7 straight games. Shout out to Mike Elko. We heard terrible things about Mike Elko at ACC Media Days and how the faithful enduring was not happy with the way he left the program. But he's done a phenomenal job.
The game, though.
Huh?
He had some comments after the game.
What did he say?
He said, I forget what he said, but he took a shot.
Did he?
Yeah, he took a shot.
I mean, he should have. Like, when you win, you're allowed to talk trash. Their next game, South Carolina, is going to be a scary game for them. I think I wrote.
It's like a trap game.
Yeah, so I think it's South Carolina, and then who was their second? Who was their second game? Let me check their schedule. I think I wrote down Texas A&M like an idiot. But I wanted to look at these teams' remaining schedules and then kind of figure out.
They play South Carolina. After that, they have
New Mexico State,
then Auburn, then
and Texas. The Texas game is home. It's at the 12th man, and this will be the first time they play since when? 2011. So that atmosphere is going to be magnetic. Can Texas A&M, based on the schedule we just went over, can they win the SEC?
Regular season. I think they could beat South Carolina. I mean, New Mexico State game doesn't matter.
Hey, Moon, don't be reading my mind, man, for later. Oh, this is going to Dino and Nino later on. Because we know Nino's a Conor Wegman guy. But Marcel Reed just kind of gave them, it was a spark. I can't explain it. It's not
it was a spark. And I'm a Conor Wegman guy as well.
Yeah.
I was disappointed to see him this season. He's been underwhelming throughout his career.
Yeah.
Can they win the SEC? I mean, yeah, I check the standings right now. I mean, they're number one.
Who's the guy at quarterback though? Should we have that talk?
I think it should be Reed after this. I mean, after this week,
you think so? Because I think Reed gives him, of course, it gives him the ability to run. Sometimes athletes win in college.
Although,
football.
Hey,
I think it's completion percentage. Wegman can. I think his completion percentage is 50s, but something happened when he entered the game, and I felt. Did you see it live? Like the moment that he was going to, I felt so bad because you ever see somebody get to, like you ever see like some guy break up with a girl or some girl break up with a guy, and you see them go through like all of the phases of, the denial and acceptance and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it'd be interesting. Mr. Cherry Coke, can I share my college football bowl projections and playoff picture doc?
Hey KT,
I'm trying to think. Moon, you want to put an email that he can send that to?
Mike Elko, after beating LSU. This is a real program. It is not fake. It is not a politician running this program, talking fast and BSing everybody. Don't know who he's talking about.
Oh, he's 100% talking about Duke.
You think so? Because some people thought he was talking about Jimbo.
He said saw a reaction from an LSU fan talking about hold up with A&M get Lamar Jackson. Hey man, that's funny. So yes, I'm with you as far as can they win it? Absolutely.
I mean, you look at right now, number one. I mean, all they need to do is beat Texas.
Yeah,
because they don't play Georgia.
How you feeling about Texas? Is your thought still here, or I know they ain't the F word yet, but where you at in your mind with them?
Good.
What's up with Quinn Ewers, bro? You know I never believed.
I never been a big believer in Quinn Ewers either. So
yeah,
but I mean they still good. They just
yeah. I think it just shows, this is the difference. This is the level in the SEC. And in order to be top dog, you have to play at this type of level every week. You can't have these type of games because any given Saturday, Thursday, Friday, I mean, we get college football during the week now, but you can be beat. Let's talk about UGA. 6-1 overall. Their games remaining are Florida, Ole Miss, Tennessee, UMass, Georgia Tech. How you feeling about Georgia chances?
You said UMass, Georgia Tech, Ole Miss, Tennessee,
and Florida.
I said the 5 left, right?
Yeah, Georgia Tech. Yeah.
Tennessee.
Yeah, Florida, Ole Miss, UMass, Georgia Tech. I feel like the amount of parity that exists in the SEC now. When's the last time we seen it like this, bro?
It's been. I mean, I feel like maybe I don't feel like during because maybe I wasn't hip to it. I want to say maybe it was like the first year Alabama became national champions when they beat Florida in the SEC championship game.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's like throughout my remembrance, it's kind of been Alabama and Georgia. And you had these years where Cam Newton and Auburn to make it, or Auburn and Jarrett Stidham will make it, or Mizzou will make it, or Nick Marshall in Auburn, by the way, greatest Auburn quarterback of all time. Or you had the years where Mizzou made in 2013 and 2012, I think, back-to-back SEC championship appearances. But usually it's always like the top 10 stay the top teams. For the most part, maybe it was 2014, which I think Alabama still won it, but you had like Texas A&M, I think, beat them. That was the year also with Auburn. They had 2 losses. LSU, I think, was also good. Mississippi State was also number 1 that year. Remember, my whole decade ago video. It was 2014 or
your decade,
2014, 15. Yeah.
your
First year the college
decade.
football playoffs. It was like Mississippi State number 1 at one point. Ole Miss was like number 3. Auburn almost made the playoffs. They got knocked out by, I think it was Texas A&M. You had LSU, I think, was also competitive that season. Alabama, of course, made it to the playoffs. I don't remember covering Georgia at all in that video, but that's like maybe the year that last, like it was like this much, maybe parity.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you. So we got a couple questions in the chat. Would you rather have Carson Beck or Quinn Ewers as your quarterback?
Carson Beck. Well,
I'm not sure. I'm really not.
I'll take Carson Beck. Oh no, I like Carson Beck more than Quinn Ewers.
You take Carson Beck. Also, is Rashada something to look forward to past Beck? Will Beck enter the draft?
Nah.
You think he's coming back? So what happens to Jalen Rashada? Is he going to sit? Is he comfortable sitting? He said their homie just say Nick Marshall was Auburn's best quarterback ever. Yeah. You got to understand this dude is a Nick Marshall stan, bro. It's it's like when
Trey Mason the best running back of all time too.
Yeah, so yeah, that's Jalen, bro. He stands and he just says him.
And Kerryon Johnson.
Moon says Quinn Ewers for him. He said gross. When we get to the Big 12, I have something to tell Jalen about. Jalen Daniel. So, all righty. So let's keep moving. Texas games left. They got Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Texas A&M. Based on the performances from the last 2 weeks, right? We would have went down the schedule. We went down the schedule. No problem. A couple weeks ago. Yeah. Texas only game they got to worry about is Georgia. Based on these last 2 weeks, I'm worried about every one of these games. Every single one of them, I am worried about. I'm not saying they're going to lose every single one of them, but I'm just saying.
You said Florida, Texas A&M.
I said Florida, Arkansas, Kentucky, Texas A&M.
Oh yeah.
I'm worried about every single one of those games.
That's the Arkansas game.
Yeah, bro. Yes, teams that can play physical, run the rock. Yeah. So like, and if I know our friends out west are probably in all of those games have Texas favored, probably except the Texas A&M. It's plus like 20.
Oh yeah, if they play this Saturday, Texas A&M will be.
Yeah, I'm definitely. I want to say that about Kentucky, but we've seen at times Kentucky was able to show up. So I want to say yes, the Kentucky game is a gimme, but I don't know.
I think I think the Kentucky game is the most gimme on the rest of the schedule.
I would have to agree, but it's crazy because before the season I'd say they'd have washed all of these teams. But that's why we play the game. So how you like Texas chances of winning the?
I don't.
You don't? I don't. What about making the playoff? You still believe?
I like the chance of making the playoffs,
but just not winning the conference or the conference championship.
Yeah.
Cool. So now let's talk about Tennessee. Their games left. They played Kentucky, Mississippi State, UGA, UTEP, and Vandy. How you feeling about that?
Who scheduled this? You said
this is Tennessee. They played Kentucky, Mississippi State, UGA, UTEP, and Vandy.
The Vandy game might worry me a little bit, but Kentucky game don't really worry me as much.
They should handle business there.
Like I think they handle business potentially for the rest of the season.
I think they could be in a title game if they're able to somehow stun Georgia. They're definitely in a title game.
Yeah, they would need to beat Georgia. This between because South Carolina. I mean, not South Carolina. Texas A&M does not play Georgia. So, if I'm not mistaken, they don't play Tennessee either. So that would mean one of those two teams that we talked about would have to the championship game.
So what teams do you have in the SEC Conference Championship, and then what teams do you have making it to the playoff?
Honestly, right now, I favor Texas A&M. After that, it's kind of like Georgia, Tennessee. Do I really want to trust Texas?
Right.
But I really want to trust Tennessee's offense, and Josh Heupel's overrated in this so far this season.
And Moon just said they said Tennessee still has major hurdles.
Yeah.
J now said Texas would be number 11 in the rankings.
Yeah, like I guess I go Texas A&M in Georgia.
Those are the two teams I'm most confident in.
Yeah.
You know, of course, a part of me is still screaming Ole Miss, but I'm purely just talking about these four teams. I think Texas A&M and Georgia are the two teams I'm most confident in. I am going to say something that's going to piss a lot of people off.
Mm-hmm.
And now people can call me the Texas hater again, but I don't care because I saw it with my last 2 weeks. I'm not so certain they make the playoff.
There's a chance.
I'm not, especially if they continue to turn the ball over the way that they've been turning the ball over. Some of these teams will put you away.
Mm-hmm.
You can't continue to play like this. So let's move right along. Let's talk about the Big Ten. Their conference standings. We got.
This ain't gonna take long.
Indiana, they're 8-0. Oregon 8-0. Penn State 7-0. Ohio State 6-1. Illinois 6-2. Iowa 5-3. Michigan 5-3. Wisconsin 5-3. Minnesota 5-3. Nebraska's 5-3. Should be 6-2. Michigan State's 4-4. Washington 4-4. USC 4-4. Maryland 4-4. Rutgers 4-4. Northwestern 3-5. UCLA 2-5. And Purdue is in the cellar, as Jalen predicted before the season start. So Indiana, games left. Michigan State, Michigan, Ohio State, Purdue. What you thinking?
3-1.
3-1,
possibly.
So they're in the title game. In your opinion?
It'd be Ohio State.
It's amazing this year.
It'd be Ohio State game.
If they beat the Ohio State game, they're in there. Let's talk about Oregon. Games left. Michigan, Maryland, Wisconsin, Washington. We're thinking they're undefeated, right?
Yeah, they're locked.
Okay. All righty. So you remember I said something and I was chastised for it. So I'm going to talk my shit right now. I said Dylan Gabriel will lead the Oregon Ducks to higher heights than Bo Nix did.
He hasn't yet. Well, I guess he had to number one, but it's been better teams. And when Bo Nix was their quarterback, it was a better team.
They're number one, numero uno, sir.
When Bo Nix was their quarterback, they were better teams.
They played better teams, is what you're saying.
No, there were better teams in college football.
There were better teams in college when Bo Nix was the quarterback there.
Yeah.
So you saying that he still hasn't done enough?
I don't say he hasn't done enough, but I don't think he took them to higher heights.
He hasn't taken them to higher heights.
I don't believe so.
Based on what?
I don't think he'll be doing anything different than Bo Nix would be doing right now.
Okay, so you saying Bo Nix will have the same success, if not more success?
Yeah.
So, like the game from a couple years ago when Utah smacked the shit out of Oregon, you see that happen with Dylan Gabriel this year?
No, but they haven't really. Outside of Ohio State, they haven't really played too many teams like that. You guys are some Bo Nix stands, bro. My apologies. I wasn't familiar with everybody's game. But yes, Landon is a huge piece of it. But God damn it, we talking like Dylan Gabriel ain't in the thick of things for the Heisman. Like, we can't sit here and just Bo Nix was too.
We can't diminish this man's value. Yeah, Bo Nix was, man. Until it was time to put the money on the goddamn table, and the money couldn't be placed on the goddamn table. And I know that Atlanta cost him a couple games last year. We're just not going for 3. That hate, love Gabriel, but still need to fix up that red zone vision. The hate for Mickey Mouse is crazy. Hey, bro. Hey, bro. But we're going to move past that. But I said that he will take them to higher heights than Bo Nix ever has. So when they get that first round bye, you feel me?
I mean, I chose them for my national championship.
You did. You chose them for the. I did not. You did.
I don't think Dylan Gabriel was better than Bo Nix.
You don't think he's better than Bo Nix based on what?
Just
you saying as far as like going to the NFL? What like what is the metric? What is the key?
If I say I trust you to lead my team, I feel like I'm taking Bo Nix over Dylan Gabriel.
To lead your team? Okay, I think that's fair. Yeah. I think that's 100% fair. But do you think Bo Nix's body of work is better than Dylan Gabriel's? Because his body of work isn't. Don't forget them Auburn years. Everybody like to talk
Auburn
about
years
this.
Shaking them. Auburn years shaking.
Don't talk about these Auburn years. Them Auburn years was rough. And God damn it, I mean rough. I don't mean ROUGH. I mean RUFF. That was rough.
But honestly, like I guess Dylan Gabriel body work is better, but
hey, bro. Like people just act like they didn't just dismantle Illinois, bro. You know
KT, I knew that was gonna happen.
You said it. I didn't think that was gonna happen. I've watched.
I see Purdue dismantle us. This ain't nothing new.
Hey, bro. I mean,
do nothing amazing.
Okay, hey, listen. I'm gonna continue to talk my shit about Dylan Gabriel, bro. Who your Heisman favorite right now?
I'm favorite. Ashton Jeanty still. Travis Hunter is like it's like this, it's like, but it's not.
You think it's them two?
Yeah.
Who says Cam Ward?
He third.
I say it's Dylan Gabriel. I say it's the guy that I predicted in preseason. Hey, the Heisman Award, yes, is an individual award, but it's also individual plus your team play. We're sitting here, we're looking at Oregon's schedule, and we're thinking, hey, you know what I'm saying?
Colorado's schedule be more difficult.
Based on the quality of the team, absolutely. Because we looked at Colorado's schedule, like, bro, they're not going bowling this year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we looked at their schedule, we didn't see it happening, but
actually, I played Dylan Gabriel in their game.
Yeah, hey, D-Now, and I'll give D-Now credit. When everybody was giving Colorado a whole bunch of hate, we weren't giving them hate. We was just giving them tough love.
Yeah.
D-Now said, hey, they're going to win a big. And matter of fact, he predicted the record. He said they'll have 2 losses and win the Big 12. That was a hell of a take, D-Now. Does Cam Ward do what Gabriel is doing if he was at Oregon? Yeah, I'm a Cam Ward guy, bro. And I've never met Dylan Gabriel. I've actually met Cam Ward. I've seen the guy, see how he carry himself. I'm such a huge Cam Ward fan, bro. And honestly, I think he has more in his toolbox than Dylan Gabriel has in his toolbox. So if he's at Oregon, absolutely he's done. He's doing more for sure. Can I replace what Cam is doing in Miami? Told us everything. Yeah, 100%. All right, so Penn State. Games left: Ohio State, Washington, Purdue, Minnesota, Maryland. Is this the year that James Franklin finally said, hey, you know how you always say, man, we almost had him, man.
KT, if Drew Allen's healthy this week, I think I'm going to Ohio State. I mean Penn State.
Oh, you said if you play?
Yeah.
I didn't like what I saw. I didn't like what I saw from Ohio State this past week.
I didn't.
So you remember what I was saying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, if Ohio State, we already know what we're gonna see on Twitter, man. I got a text from my dad. He said, man, I can't stand Ryan Day. and mind you, my dad watches like Ohio State, Notre Dame, and Colorado. He watches more of them than anybody else. So whenever he talking to me college football, he tends to stay in those lanes. But when that man texted me and said, I can't stand Ryan Day, they need to fire him, I said, wow, here we go. Penn State edges stop the run. Yeah, I would agree. How do you like Penn State chances? Because you know that I'm bought in on Penn State.
Penn State to win the conference.
Abdul Carter locks himself as a top 5 pick.
Honestly, don't know what.
And what's the kid name at Tennessee? The defense end, James Pierce. Who you guys like better, Abdul Carter or James Pierce? I need to know these things. Who do you guys like better? Look at your NFL team now. You can keep the scheme in it, whatever, however you want to do it. If you had the opportunity to get Abdul Carter or you had the opportunity to get James Pierce, who you taking?
I think I'm taking James Pierce.
You taking James Pierce? D-Now said he's taking James Pierce. He said he's got more Ben.
But yeah, I mean, this could be Penn State's year.
I think it's Penn State year. I think
to make a conference championship, yes.
Yeah. I think James Franklin finally, in wrestling they always talk about gonads and like having grapefruits. For so long, James Franklin was already being a third best. What I'm saying? I think he's at that point, and the faithful is at that point. Like, all right, dog, come on, we're close. We have the guy we want to quarterback. We have a dynamic running back duel, and I can't tell you who's better from week to week between Nick Singleton and
we got the best idea in college football, arguably.
Yeah, so it's hard to say. Carter been balling and is ready right now. I think Pierce can be developed further into one of the greatest. I think that is a fair assessment. I like Abdul Carter. And I liked him before the move to DN because I thought he was sideline to sideline, when he was playing linebacker. So I'm a huge Abdul Carter fan. So Penn State, when Penn State make the conference championship, will they be playing Oregon in the conference championship?
Yeah, I think it's Penn State, Oregon.
I think it's Penn State, Oregon as well. We agree. That's what's up, man. That's what I'm talking about. Ohio State games left. Penn State, Purdue, Northwestern, Indiana, Michigan. They can lose 3 of them things.
They can lose 1. Hey, can people in the chat tell KT that Michigan sucks and they're not beating Ohio State? They have like no chance. Can people somebody in the chat please tell KT that?
Hey, Jalen. If Michigan beats Ohio State, dude, Moon, I'm catching a flight to Decatur and I ain't talking Georgia. Hey, man, like Three's Company, man, come and knock on my door. I'm knocking on your door, cuzzo.
Like I said, somebody in the chat needs to tell KT. Like,
he said, Michigan my guy's out on OSU. Facts, SC, facts.
Like, somebody, SC, Moon, D now. Somebody in the chat needs to tell KT.
He said, help me. Like, hey, Michigan is 100% beating Ohio State, bro. And I'm coming to Decatur, and I'm not talking Georgia. I promise you.
I saw what Michigan's offense looked like. It's terrible.
Man, listen, young. Like, hey, you ever seen somebody at school getting bullied? And they getting bullied by a little dude. Like, imagine a dude your size getting bullied like by somebody my size, right? And you look at it like, yo, why don't you just grab him and shut him up, yeah? Like, I feel like that's what Michigan is at right now. Like, yes, Ohio State has way more in their 2 belt, and all Ohio State has to do is shake them up. But it's mental, bro. If he loses this year, they is a middle school coach next year.
KT, the most frustrating part is that you watch college football.
Oh yeah, I watch a lot of it.
And you're not making a sound take right now, KT. You're not making a sound take.
Oh, if I were losing another game, do we see saying this year? I think is that something that you mentioned before?
Is it saying or Aaron Nolan? Remember, they got 2.
That's a good part. They do have Aaron Nolan as well. So I'm not sure. That's it. I love that. I love that question. Michigan looked more impressive in week 9 than Ohio State did. I'm telling you, bro. It's not saying it's the other kid. So D now is with you. All righty. So let's talk about the ACC. So ACC, I saved the last 2 conferences that are home for us. Big 12 is home for us. Mean a lot to me. ACC means an awful lot to me. So ACC is getting at a really interesting
point. He mean Devin Brown.
Oh, right? You mean he might play the ball. Oh, Devin Brown. Yuck. It might be Devin Brown. Is he still rocking number 33? Out there looking like Larry Bird at quarterback. Somebody get your mans, bro. All right. Clemson, 6-1 overall. Miami, 8-0 overall. SMU, 7-1 overall. Pitt, 7-0. This is what I'll say about Pitt before we even get into the thick of things. Offensively, I do not believe they have enough, but defensively, I believe this team is elite. I will say that about Pitt. Virginia Tech, 5-3. You ever cross a team like, damn, I had a bad take about them?
Yeah.
Louisville, 5-3. Syracuse, 5-2.
Texas.
Georgia Tech, 5-4. Wake Forest is 4-4. Duke is 6-2, but they're 2-2 in the conference. That's why they're way down here. UVA is 4-4. BC is 4-4. How did BC lose that game the other day? That's why they were up, and I stopped watching it.
Yeah,
UNC is 4-4. NC State is 4-4. Do you know every team in this conference still has an opportunity to make a bowl game, which is crazy?
Yeah.
Eli Holstein is legit. Yep.
Pat Narduzzi, coach of the year.
Who? Pat? You said Pat Narduzzi?
Yeah.
Why not? Why not? Why not Pat Narduzzi? Think about how tumultuous their year was last year. There were some publications like you know how I feel about Phil Steele, VIP member. I always get the book early before I get the physical copy of the book. He had them finishing 3rd in the ACC last year because he was that big believer in the program and what Pitt was able to do. They had such a terrible year last year. And now, what was that kid that played at BC? It seemed like everywhere he went, quarterback, played at BC, transferred to Pitt. It seemed like everywhere he went, it was tumultuous.
Yeah, I know you're talking
He had that
about.
weird last name. He was at ACC Media Days in 2023 too. I will always mispronounce his last name.
It's like Phil Jerkovich or something like that.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, Phil Jerkovic is how you say it, but we always say Jerkovic. Yeah. So it seemed like wherever he was at, just things didn't go well. So let's talk about Miami. The games they got left. Duke, I think showed to me in the loss this week that they can be a pretty good team this year. Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse. Does Miami run the table?
What's the?
They have Duke, Georgia Tech, Wake Forest, Syracuse.
Duke, Georgia Tech, Forest, Syracuse. I think they do.
Mm-hmm.
Although I wouldn't be surprised if like a Duke maybe gets them.
Right. And that,
like, they're begging for a loss.
Yeah. I feel like in some ways they are. Depends on if Haynes King play. Don't think AP watches Clemson or Miami. I think that's fair, Moon. Let's talk about Pitt. Their games left. SMU. That's gonna be a dandy of a game. UVA, Clemson, Louisville, Boston College. I'm loving the Pat Narduzzi feel good story. I had a blast going to go see them play this past Thursday. I'm not sure if they can keep up at this pace. For at least from an offensive perspective, I think defensively they're elite though.
Oh yeah, defensively, that I feel like they've been like this all year.
Mm-hmm.
And what's the remaining games?
They have SMU, UVA, Clemson, Louisville, and Boston College. That it's just some teams that can beat them. You know what I'm saying? Like,
wait, SMU,
Virginia, Clemson, Louisville, and Boston College. That's a tough.
That's three teams that can beat them.
Yeah, for sure. I'm with you there. So I'm not certain Pitt is in the conference championship game. Clemson, the games they have left, they have Louisville, Virginia Tech, Pitt, the Citadel, and South Carolina. They still have a tough. You know what I'm saying? Like those are some tough games there. But if
that Pitt and Clemson game might be the whole decider.
Yeah. And what I was gonna tell you is you should come to Pitt for that game, man. It's like 7 hours from me, bro. You should consider it. Clemson, Pitt, and Pitt. You should consider it, man.
What week is that?
The week of November 15th, I think.
Okay.
So yeah, it's gonna be a really good game. I was able to meet their SID this past week. Sweetheart, she said we're invited whenever we want to come out there. So SMU games left. They got Pitt, Boston College, Virginia, and Cal. Two teams in the conference championship. Are you comfortable in saying that it will be Miami and Clemson? Or do you think SMU can sneak in there? You comfortable saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think SMU can sneak in that bad boy too, though.
They can.
Yeah.
They can.
But I think I would you Pitt, Clemson. Who wins the conference championship game? If Clemson, I'm sorry, not Pitt. If Clemson and Miami play right now, who's winning the conference championship?
I'm gonna choose Clemson. I like the way their offense has looked in the last couple of weeks, and I like the way the defense has looked in the last couple of weeks.
I agree. I like Clemson. This also is going to sound crazy. I think Clemson can make a deep playoff run. Am I crazy for saying that?
I don't think you are.
I think they can really make a deep playoff run. How dope would it be if Dabo Swinney gets to say, I did it my way? Middle fingers in the air and retire. You know what I'm saying? If he's able to win the big one, bro. Like, he said, I would take Clemson over Miami, barely by a walk-off field goal, 45-42. There is a world that we live in, and I think Clemson can beat the crap out of Miami. There's a world that we live in that I think I can truly say that.
Miami hasn't played. Miami defense looks like Louisville put up points.
Miami back with Bane.
Cal put points against them.
Yeah. We see some sketchiness with the refs.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, Virginia Tech definitely has some opportunities against them.
Score had put up points against them.
Yeah, but the difference has been Cam Ward. He's going to always find a way.
Yeah. But those are also against inferior teams.
Yeah.
Clemson really isn't an inferior team.
Cam is looking sus lately. Yeah, I like Clemson a lot. I like Clemson in the ACC. Let's talk about the Big 12. Man, Garrett Riley getting K. He's some cutty or something. He playing too good. All righty. So you remember, I think for like 3 or 4 consecutive weeks, I was like, I don't buy BYU. I don't buy BYU. I don't buy.
Mhm.
I buy him. I buy him. I finally bought it. So BYU was 8-0. Iowa State 7-0. Kansas State 7-1. Colorado 6-2. TCU is 5-3. Doesn't this just feel like one of those one-off years? Remember, TCU had that one-off year a couple years
Yeah,
ago where Sonny Dykes could do no wrong. You get the same
they're
feeling with this.
frost with the
Yeah,
mentioned national championship.
yeah, and then they got exposed. Um, but TCU is 5-3. Texas Tech is 5-3. West Virginia is 4-4. A lot of their fans are upset.
I will be too.
They are talking about Neil Brown. They're saying, why couldn't we hire Kirk Cincinnati? I've seen like 3 or 4 fans say that today. Cincinnati is 5-3. Arizona State's 5-2. Baylor's 4-4. Houston's 3-5. Arizona's 3-5, bro. UCF is 3-5, bro. Utah is 4-4. Kansas is 2-6. Oklahoma State is 3-5.
0-5 in conference play.
Moon, you said you had something for us when we got the Big 12 play.
Yeah. Oklahoma State's 0-5 in conference play.
You said Marshall over West Virginia. I did enjoy my stay in Marshall, and I can't say, Jesus Christ. If you know, you know. Iowa State versus Colorado in the championship. Big fan of Rocco Bet.
The problem is Colorado, they need Kansas State to lose. They need Kansas State to lose.
Yeah, they do, because Kansas State got the tiebreaker over them. Yeah. It was just poor defense, bro. They was able to go down, get the go-ahead score.
But that's not really shocking, because we all know Colorado
it's not
isn't the best defensive team.
You know what? I don't like Shedeur press conferences a lot. I don't think he's media trained well enough. He doesn't. While his dad can be aggressive, his dad has earned the right to be aggressive during these conversations. I actually enjoyed this press conference this past week. I can't say that. So, BYU, games they have left is Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, Houston. Are they a lock to make the Big 12 championship?
BYU is what?
BYU has Utah, Kansas, Arizona State, and Houston left. Are they a lock to make the Big 12 championship?
Like, I think they'd be Utah. I think so.
You think
it's all
Arizona State game gonna be scary.
Yeah, outside of Arizona State, it's all like bottom tier.
Yeah, Kansas put up a good fight against Kansas State. Just depending on what team that show up. All right, Brother Moon had his big announcement that he was going to say. He said, "Man, Jalen Daniels is the most frustrating player to watch in college football, and it pains me to say, Jalen, I almost broke my TV, dog. Kansas State should be eliminated from contention for the college football playoff."
I mean, I'm not surprised at Jalen Daniels. I mean, I remember KT had this question. It was like, could he be a possibly pro quarterback? Like,
yeah, I remember asking you that.
Not NFL, but
he said, "Not never." I tried to give him a chance, and I tried to stall him out, but bruh, he makes it so hard. But I'm so mad right now. Slim. That's hilarious.
Bro, I saw it against Illinois. He sucks. He is that good. He's okay.
He's decent. But not Illinois decent, but like
he's really a product of the old offensive coordinator who is now with Purdue. No, not Purdue. He's with, oh my gosh, they play Illinois. If I'm not mistaken, they play Illinois.
You said the team that was
Kansas. Yeah, I think Kansas OC or maybe I'm thinking of it as the other way around, but I think Kansas OC last year went somewhere else and they play Illinois this season. Nebraska. I think it was Nebraska.
Okay. So
I think it was Nebraska.
Iowa State games left. They play Texas Tech, Kansas, Cincinnati, Utah, and Kansas State. I want to like their chances because I said before the season started, it's time for Matt Campbell to put up or shut up. I just don't see it.
Yeah, because I looked at this Saturday.
Oh, he's at Penn State. He's at Penn State.
Penn State. Okay, yeah.
I did play them this year.
Yeah. Because that's when I was like, oh yeah, we definitely losing this game. Then we lost that game. Yeah, I remember that because we can't stop the run, and we couldn't stop the run last year against Kansas either. Texas Tech gonna be a possible loss. Kansas, I guess, could be a possible loss. I don't think it will be. Cincinnati
Right.
can be a close game. I
Yeah.
think they beat Utah. Kansas State be the deciding factor.
Yeah, I don't see Iowa State making it to the Big 12 championship. I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's where the Kansas State game comes to play, right? Because
Mhm.
Kansas State is the only other team above Colorado,
Mhm.
right?
Yep. Yep. That's accurate. That's 100% accurate. So Kansas State, the games they have left is Houston, Arizona State, Cincy, and Iowa State. So Colorado fans, we need them to lose to.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I think they can get past all these teams. Houston,
Yeah.
I feel like that's a lock. But they get past Cincy. The Arizona and Iowa State game might be deciding factors.
The reason I don't like Arizona State is because physical teams bother Kansas State, which is weird, but physical teams bother them. Iowa State and Arizona State. Can we take a moment of silence for UCF nice fan base right now? I feel so bad for them. We were high on them, to start the season. Colorado games left. Texas Tech, Utah, Kansas, Oklahoma State. I feel like they can run the table.
They can. That Texas Tech game kind of scared me, but I feel like they can. I feel like they're beating Texas Tech. I feel like they're beating Utah. I feel like they're beating Kansas. The Oklahoma State game where I'm like, Oklahoma State might be 0-5 in conference play. They might be 3-5 overall.
Right.
But they can still beat you.
Yeah, for sure.
Will they? Probably not.
Depends what team is showing up. So how you feel about Colorado now, man? Bowl eligible, 6-2. I definitely didn't see this coming. You look down the schedule and you be like, they're not winning this one, they're not winning this one, they're not winning this one.
Some teams underachieved, and it was like, or some teams were worse than what we thought.
Did we underestimate the adjustment period? Because styles make fights. I've been saying that for years. Styles make fights, and Big 12 and Pac-12 have different styles. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I guess we did, but let me look at Colorado's schedule.
Because you remember we were like, because we were talking, we like, yo, will they be bowl eligible this year? Remember, we was at ACC kickoff.
We was at ACC Media Day. Yeah.
And I was like, what? I went down that schedule. I said, oh, maybe they won't, so.
Yeah, because we were like, well, UCF isn't as good as what we thought. Neither is Arizona. I ain't trying to take anything away from it. It's just the facts. Arizona definitely isn't as good as we thought. What the heck? Arizona sucks.
Yeah, the facts are the facts for sure.
Oklahoma State definitely not as good as what we thought. Holy Lord, they, especially me, I had to win the conference. They stuck.
I mean, but you look at their return of production. We thought we were getting 2023 Ollie Gordon back.
Yeah,
not whatever Ollie Gordon is playing right now. So yeah,
I can't say I'm not surprised that they beat Baylor. I'm not surprised that they beat Cincinnati, or Colorado State, or North Dakota State. So,
in retrospect, yes, we could certainly say that. That's a case where, return in production, is a smaller portion of the story. Agreed. All righty. So, who's playing in the championship?
It's BYU, and I don't know who else.
Okay. So, BYU is your lock. You just don't know who else is going to be there. Because I think there's a world where I would say Kansas State. There's also a world where I would say Colorado. I don't think there's a world I'll say Iowa State, though.
Exactly. Like, I don't know. Like, I think I would, if I had to choose between those four teams, Iowa State would be number 4.
I agree. I think I would have K-State because of the tiebreaker over Colorado at 2, and then Colorado at 3. So let's talk about best G5 odds. So we have Boise State. The games they have left are San Diego State, Nevada, San Jose State, Wyoming, and Oregon State. That Oregon State game is going to be interesting. That would be a phenomenal game. Yeah, we're gonna get there. Army games left. They got Air Force, North Texas, Notre Dame, UTSA, Navy. Memphis games left. They got UTSA, Rice, UAB, Tulane, Louisiana. They got Texas State, Arkansas State, South Alabama, Troy, ULM, and I omitted Navy from this conversation just for now. Yeah, just for now, just because
Navy's done. Probably,
right. It was a bad loss, but Notre Dame has looked good as of late. So, talk to me.
I think I'm rolling with.
D now said Army, lock it in.
See, it's that Notre Dame game. Like Notre Dame playing like a lot different team than what we saw.
But I mean, but we would if they lost to Notre Dame, won the AAC, we would still give them the same grace that we would give to Boise State for losing to Oregon, right?
Yeah, but they would need Boise State to lose again.
You think so? Which can happen. UNLV really had a chance to win this past weekend. And I know
they play San Diego State, which, if I'm not mistaken, is an okay team this year. And then I checked the schedule. Nevada and State, I think it's like Nevada and Wyoming. They might be the bottom feeders, or they play they got 3 really favorable games. Oregon State game might be skeptical, but I don't know. Yeah, they would need.
I think I'm with D now. I think I saw enough to say that, hey, Boise State will lose to UNLV in the conference championship. I agree with that. I saw enough this past Friday. I agree with that.
Really?
You know how you saw the Ohio State game, and we're talking about before this past game.
Yeah. We saw the Ohio State Oregon game.
Yeah. And you was like, yo, you felt like Ohio State had every opportunity to win the game, and you said you felt like if it was neutral site, or they didn't even matter if it was neutral site, they played again, that your money would be on Ohio State. And of course, that was before they laid the egg versus Nebraska. But it's like I looked at UNLV and in that loss, I said, oh yeah, they can beat them for sure. And not that nobody's going to stop Genty, but did they kind of contain him a little bit?
They did.
Yeah.
He had his good amount of runs. Like, he had like a little 16-yarder here, 14-yarder here.
Also, why does it feel like the Indy lost to NAU? Doesn't matter anymore. If you lose in November, hope it's not October and never in November.
Well, because they were ranked high at that time, if I'm not mistaken. I think they were ranked like number 5 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. It doesn't, because A&M is so good. Yep. That's a good point. That's a great. Hey, D now, that was a hell of a comeback, bro. So yeah, who you got? We talked about the teams with the best odds. Who is your lock for making a playoff from the G5 ranks?
I'm gonna take. I guess I'll take Army. That what y'all said about that UNLV game.
Because I think Boise State can lose to Oregon State. I think they can turn around and lose to UNLV, and then that will give them 3 losses, and they wouldn't make it. I also omitted Liberty from this list because they lost to Kennesaw State. You got what you deserve. You look like crap all year, bro, and I'm allowed to say that. Why? Credential member of the media at Liberty. They look like crap all year. They deserve that loss. If it's a team that deserve a loss, it's Liberty, bro.
There's a world where Memphis makes it, but they got to get ranked first.
Yeah, there's definitely. If they can run a table and then somehow win an AAC championship, absolutely they can make it. But I'm with D now. But you know what scares me?
What?
Is what happens if Army, let's say they lose to Notre Dame, win out the regular season, win the AAC championship, but turn around and lose to Navy in a game that doesn't count for the AAC. Like what? Like how do we evaluate them then? You know what I'm saying? Like
I think if I'm a voter, I would knock them depending on how they beat Navy and then how they lost to Navy. Like let's say they beat them in blowout fashion, then they lost in a close game. It'd be like, okay,
you still view it the same.
Yeah, but let's say they won in close fashion and then got blown out the next game, and it's like, okay,
right. Oh, they play the Sunday after conference championship games.
Okay,
because traditionally it was before, right? Maybe this year's different.
I don't know
because of the AAC. It could be different this year. But yeah, Army is my lock too. I think at the moment that's the safest pick that I feel the most comfortable with, because it's not that they're winning games; it's how they're winning games. They have a player, a quarterback that's just truly a difference maker. So yeah, I didn't know that Army Navy game was after the conference championship this year.
It's always been that way. I don't know if I ever noticed that.
Me either. I don't even think. Let me.
So would it even matter?
It wouldn't matter. That's what Dina was saying. He was like, it wouldn't matter. Let me look that up.
No, I think D-Now's right. I trust D-Now on it.
He's right. He's right. He's 100% right. Damn. Has it always been like that, D-Now?
I think it has. I think it has.
Yeah, for real?
Yeah, it's just something I never noticed.
I never noticed it either.
Yeah, I think I got Army as well.
Yeah, yeah. So he's right. It's already picked by then. I'm taking Army for sure. Yeah, that's why it's controversial. Jalen, anything else you want to add before we close out this episode?
I don't think so. Nah.
Hey, it's time for you to do another weekly fraud update, man. What team is frauds in your mind right now?
Texas.
Welcome to the dark side, player.
Texas. Ole Miss. Y'all, y'all said there.
That's fair. That's fair.
Tennessee.
I can't even
kinda.
get into that. Even after the Bama win? Or maybe Bama was frauds all along. Like
Bama was frauds all along. Oh man. You don't get cool points for beating frauds. No.
That's funny.
Oh well. I guess LSU.
Has Ohio State joined that list yet?
Oh no, they teetering.
They teetering though after that Nebraska game.
Yeah, they teetering.
Okay.
Well, no, they're not teetering. They more so on not frauds.
Right.
But it's like if they have another close game, let's say they barely beat Penn State, then it's like, oh, okay.
Here we go. You got to ring the fraud alarm, man.
Yeah.
I want to shout out our team. I don't think I do that enough, man. Jalen, you do a phenomenal job on this show. I've always said that you have probably, if not one of the most talented people I work with, bro. Your ability to develop takes, your ability to troll is elite. I think sometimes you're so witty, people don't know when you're joking, bro. You know what I'm saying? That shit is effing hilarious. I want to shout out Nino and everything that he does with the Twitter, everything. Hey, my dog give a shout out. So who else you want to shout out, dog?
That's why I started laughing in the background because I heard him.
Right, he said, woo. Yeah, I want to shout out D-Now, everything he does, man. That guy's just brilliant. He's added a certain essence to Overreaction Mondays. I think it's a must-sees on every Overreaction Monday. I want to shout out.
Love D-Now Overreaction Monday.
Bro, D-Now does his things. Mizzou is certainly frauds as well, Moon.
Oh yeah, Mizzou. I mean, they've been a fraud, so
they've been a fraud for sure. So shout out to D-Now. Moon, bro. Moon does so many magnetic things. Him and D-Now both have close relationships with the schools. Hey, bro. Both have close relationships with the schools, get us a lot of different places, bro. Shout out to them, Brad, everything he does on the marketing side of things, Mike, everything he does with the camera. SC and Andy, bro, they bring such a certain essence. Like I don't know, I feel like they gave us that stamp of approval. As far as how deep in their bag they get with Debbie, how deep in their bag they get with high school recruiting. It's just like, I don't know. I don't feel like nobody really messing with our team, man. So just shout out to the squad, man, for show. Appreciate everybody in the comment section, man, making the show live, making it lit. I think we truly are able to kind of have an open show like we had today, only because you guys are able to keep the chat lit. Jalen, anything else you want to say before we close out? And shout out to my dog King, bro. Hey, man, my dog likes Moon better than he like me, bro. It's crazy, Jalen, but it's the God honest truth, bro. My dog in here giving shout outs, man. I can't hear you. I think you muted, bro.
Oh no, I ain't got nothing more left to say.
Okay. He's Moon wants to join Overreaction Monday. Hey man, I don't have no issues with it, man. I'm gonna check, make sure everybody else good with it. I'll have to send you the script. You got 45 minutes to get ready, but I know you stay ready, so you don't have to get ready. So yeah, let me just clear it with the fellas, and then absolutely, man. As I always like to say, there are no more victories in sport that survive and advance. That's why college football has the greatest regular season. Until next time, you already know what it is. 1.